The American public really doesn't take too kindly to us importing the third world and more violence and more lawlessness and more human trafficking. Americans don't like that very much. So they don't say, how do we stop it? They say, how do we do it in secret? Welcome to Come and Take It. Happy Tuesday. We are getting through the week together. So last week was crazy. We saw more of these crazy protests going on college campuses, including in Texas, where these students are learning real-time lessons that their parents never taught them, apparently. But I also saw last week a report that came out on illegal immigration. And I think it's really important for people to understand what is really going on and just how cunning the Biden administration, or regime, as I like to call them, just how cunning they really, really are when it comes to infiltrating our country with complete chaos and upending our entire way of life. So basically, if you thought the Biden regime was terrible at handling the southern border and handling the immigration crisis at the border, wait, there's more. And it gets worse, because with everything in the Biden administration, it always gets worse, it seems. You're like, boy, can't get any worse than that. And then somehow the Biden administration makes it happen. So in this case, they are basically subverting law and order and the will of the American people, and hoping, because they're doing it so covertly, they're hoping that you don't find out about it. But last week, the U.S. House Committee on Homeland Security released a report that showed that under Joe Biden, the Department of Homeland Security has flown in more than 400,000 illegal aliens just since January 2023. They are flying these people in to our country. Illegal aliens, okay? And by the way, since this is Come and Take It, and we do focus primarily on Texas here, more than 10,000 illegal aliens have flown directly into Texas airports under this plan, under this disastrous plan. And of course, this is in addition to, I just want to, I don't think we can overemphasize how big of a deal this is, because this is in addition to the millions and millions and millions of people that they are already welcoming in through the southern border. They're getting fist bumped. They're getting a free phone. They're probably getting free food. They're getting shelter. They're getting all these free things. Here you go. Oh, you chose to break the law upon entry of this country. You chose to disrespect American law and order. Here you go. Here's some freebies. Congratulations. Welcome to America. Oh, and by the way, we'll call you a newcomer instead of what you are, which is an illegal alien. We'll call you a newcomer under the Joe Biden administration, because that's what they want. They want to change the language and call them newcomers now. So this flying in program is in addition to just the complete disarray and chaos and the way that Joe Biden has welcomed in more terrorism, more draining more economic resources, more human trafficking, more sex trafficking. This is in addition to all of that, okay? So you may be wondering, how is Joe Biden doing this? How is this even legal? Well, I would make the argument that it's not. We'll get to that, okay? But regardless of legality, the Biden administration created this new mass parole program, okay, last year. And it's for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. So it's called CHNV for short. All right, so they created this program after the expiration of Title 42. Now, you may remember Title 42 was the emergency health order that Donald Trump used to turn away all of these illegals at the border without giving them the ability to seek asylum because of COVID. So basically, hey, we've got a national health emergency. We can't take you right now. We have to suspend the asylum process. So eventually, you remember, Title 42 had to expire. And once Title 42 expired, the Biden regime wasn't like, okay, now how can we prevent illegals from flooding into our country? Because that's just a bad idea. That's not what they did. They weren't like, how do we stop this? Instead, they were like, how can we bring more illegals in, but like secretly and quietly so the people don't see it and don't hear about it? Because it turns out the American public really doesn't take too kindly to us importing the third world and more violence and more lawlessness and more human trafficking. Americans don't like that very much. So they don't say, how do we stop it? They say, how do we do it in secret? Because that's what the Biden regime is all about. And again, I say this every time I talk about this topic. This is traitorous behavior. In my opinion, this rises to the level of an impeachable offense. Not just Joe Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, who I know the House voted to impeach. It's not going to go anywhere because of the Senate. But to me, it doesn't matter because this is traitorous behavior. You are completely neglecting the American population's safety, and you are prioritizing another country's residents. That is traitorous behavior. So the CHNV program allows 30,000 foreigners per month from those 4 countries that I just named: Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Venezuela. And it allows for these illegal aliens to receive work permits and 2-year authorization to live in the United States. Here you go. Oh, you didn't do this the legal way. Oh, you didn't do this, the way that we ask all of these other people who are waiting in line. I have a friend who literally his son is waiting to come join him in this country. And he's got like a 5 to 7 year wait because he's doing it the right way. And I've asked him, have you tried just booking a ticket to Mexico and having him walk right in? That seems to be a much easier way to do it. And by the way, don't worry, because he'll just get a notice to appear. They're like, here, kinky promise that you're going to appear in court in the year 2032, and we'll just let you right in. You know you have a broken system when people have family members with clean records. They want to do this the right way. They love this country. They actually respect our rules. They want to be here because they've read all about America. They hear that it's this great country and they want an opportunity to live this, American dream. And they're being told, no, they have to wait. And instead we are, of course, welcoming people doing it the wrong way. It's crazy. But so not only are we bringing them in, we're letting them work here. We're letting them profit off of our country. And they didn't even do things the right way. Do you expect that these people who are being flown in, here you go, here's a free plane ride, here's a plane ride, fly in to the city of your choice, here's a free phone, here's free things. Do you think that they're going to respect any of our other laws when they see that they can do things the wrong way and be rewarded for it in this country? Do you think that's setting us up for them to, somehow respect our way of life? I'd say no. And so the 400,000 that have been flown in under this program is just the beginning, by the way, because this report that was released by Congress indicated that as of mid-October 2023, it is now May of 2024, okay? But back in October of 2023, 1.6 inadmissible aliens were awaiting travel authorizations through this program. Congratulations, America. Coming soon to a city near you, more illegal aliens who are completely unvetted. So that's just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Biden regime's, trying to completely upend our entire country. So DHS, Department of Homeland Security, admitted in these documents that this committee went through, they admitted in the documents that none of the individuals waiting had a legal basis to enter the country before they were paroled. Because here's how this works, okay? And this is where I'm going to argue that this is just completely illegal behavior. Like, this is not legal. It's not constitutional. This is the Biden regime completely overstepping their authority as usual. And unfortunately, the system is rigged, so there's nobody there who's actually going to stop them. So in the Immigration and Nationality Act, on the books, Congress grants DHS the power to parole otherwise inadmissible aliens into the United States, quote, only on a case-by-case basis for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit, end quote. So even DHS is saying, we're bringing in these people. There's no urgent humanitarian reason to bring in all these people. So there's no like asylum qualifications, okay? And by the way, there's no public benefit to it. We all know that. We all see it. How would it be beneficial to the American public to bring in unvetted people who they don't have any particular skill or anything like that? It's just like, are you from Cuba? Are you from Haiti? Are you from Nicaragua? Are you from Venezuela? All like third world countries. You don't need any qualifications. You don't need any skills. You don't need to show us that you will actually do something that helps us. Come on in. Get on a Southwest flight, an American Airlines flight, and we'll bring you right in. We'll welcome you with open arms, you newcomer. And yeah, I know it's xenophobic or something to say, you know what? Call me crazy. Maybe importing the third world into our country isn't such a good idea. And perhaps, again, call me crazy, perhaps it's not of significant public benefit to fly in a bunch of Haitians. Because last I saw, they were over there like street gangs were fighting to the death, and their now leader, who took over the country, he's like, the way he solves disagreements is by setting people on fire. That's why they call him Barbecue. That's his nickname, because he just sets people on fire when he doesn't like them. Also, they've got a bunch of cannibals over there eating each other. So I know it's xenophobic to say, hey, maybe the people who come from the place where they're setting people on fire and eating each other, maybe we shouldn't be bringing those people in. Xenophobic. Or just common sense. So it's clear that the Biden regime is dead set on doing just this, okay? Importing the third world, importing more terrorism, importing more violence, importing more drugs, importing more filth, importing more people who have absolutely no intentions of assimilating into the American way of life, okay? It's clear. They are dead set on doing that. And they've realized, optics at the border are really bad. It turns out the American people don't like what they're seeing, which is why the border is like the number one issue for voters in all of the polls. The border and illegal immigration is the number one issue across the board because people are seeing what is happening at the southern border and they are sick of it. So what does the Biden regime do? Do they listen to the will of the American people? Do they say, okay, all right, you're right, we should stop this? No, they say, let's get them away from the border where people are seeing them, and let's instead quietly, secretly fly these people in through the airports, because then less people will see about it, then less people will know. We'll stick them on a flight to a city near you. That's their answer, because they don't care about us. Which is why we see them completely, over and over again, by the way, across the board, completely disregard the Constitution, completely disregard the boundaries of their authority in a completely illegal and traitorous manner. Again, across the board. What did they do? What did they do whenever a court said, or it went through the courts that they could not just tell renters during COVID, hey, you don't have to pay. And all of these, landlords were like, The heck do you mean they don't have to pay? We need this money. This is our income. You can't just put a moratorium on rent. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's overstepping your bounds. And they basically admitted, yeah, we know, but we don't care. It's going to take a while to go through the courts, and we're fine with doing it until the court says something. But even when the court does say something, take the canceling of student debt that the Biden administration is like taking victory laps about. We canceled millions and millions of dollars of student loan debt. Aren't we great? The Supreme Court said you couldn't do that, bro. And you just did it anyway. And now you are cheering about it. Now you're patting yourself on the back about it. I don't know about you, but to me, sounds a lot like the actions of a dictator.
Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship.
Rather than a president who respects the, all of the different branches of government and the checks and balances that we are supposed to have in this country. Seems a little dictatorish, okay? A little dictator behavior going on here. So here's where the problem is when it comes to the Biden administration completely overstepping their bounds and overstepping their authority. Who's going to stop them when the system is rigged? Because Texas and 20 other states actually sued Joe Biden over this last year, and a federal judge dismissed the case. And here's how egregious this gets. When you know that the system is rigged because you know you have your little activist friends on the bench as a judge who's going to just completely let you get away with whatever you want. Here's how crazy this is. When the judge ruled on this dismissal of this case, they said, the record establishes that the number of CHNV nationals entering the United States since the program's implementation has dramatically decreased. Plaintiffs, therefore, are unable to demonstrate that they have been injured by the program, and as a result, they lack standing to bring these claims. I'm sorry, what? If you don't see, just off the top, that allowing an influx of illegal immigrants into our country is injury to all of us, you have no business being in this conversation. Like, this is the same issue. This is the same ruling that we heard from a judge in, I believe this was Washington, D.C., who dismissed a lawsuit from plaintiffs who said, you guys allowing non-citizens to vote in our elections is like, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. And the judge dismissed the claim and said, yeah, you haven't actually shown that this actually hurts you guys. Yeah. Bringing in illegals is detrimental to America, period. There's a process for it. Why is there a process for it? Because it hurts us to bring in unvetted strangers. So Texas tried, 20 other states tried, and the system is rigged. The game is rigged. And the judge said, no, you haven't shown that you've been injured by these people coming in and taking over your country. Now, look, here's the problem with, I know that Greg Abbott and some other governors have been like, I know what we're going to do. We're going to show them, and we're going to ship all these illegals to sanctuary cities, to all of these leftist cities. And that's how we're going to show them. And I get it. That's cool for like clicks and views and optics. And you get to go hold a press conference and say some really based things. And everyone's like, awesome, this is great. I'm kind of done with that, because here's what's going to happen. This isn't solved until we have mass deportation. And we have to have, all of our elected leaders have to be willing to say that out loud. Right now we have elected leaders who are scared to say it because it sounds really mean and it sounds really gruff. Mass deportation, what is that? Are you going to have buses that drive across all of these cities and you're just going to round them up and put them in the bus, throw them in the bus and ship them off? I don't know, maybe. If that's how it has to happen. Sorry that sounds mean, but we have to have mass deportation in order to go back to any sort of normalcy here. Because shipping them to New York, Chicago, all of these leftist cities, California, wherever you want to ship them, it sounds really great until you realize that here's what's going to happen. Those cities are going to run out of money. In fact, some of them are already saying that they're out of money. New York is already, what are they doing? They're asking the federal government for funds to help them house these people. So whose money now is going to be shipped to New York, to Chicago, to California, to all of these places who are housing mass numbers of illegal immigrants because they're like, we love immigrants, we're a sanctuary. And now they're like, oh, wait, crap, this was not a good idea. We need more money. You're going to pay for that in your taxpayer dollars because the federal government is going to allocate it. So we're not really solving the problem because your money is going to go to fund these people anyway, regardless. Which is why we need to be talking about mass deportations. That is the only way that this ends. They're just going to keep flying these people in. They're just going to keep fist bumping them at the border. We have to have mass deportations, and we're not going to get that until we elect representatives who are willing to say things that might hurt someone's feelings because they know it's in the best interest of the country, because this is not sustainable. It's not economically sustainable. It's not geographically sustainable. It is not sustainable. Like I said, 1.6 million people are waiting to get in through this program. We've already got almost 500,000. And that's not counting the, 10 million that Joe Biden has already welcomed in, fist bumped in at the southern border. I mean, this is like 5-alarm fire time. Mass deportation is the only way through this. So we've got to put our pedal to the metal in November and make sure that we are electing the right people who are going to follow through with this. It'd be great if the state of Texas could lead the way on that. And again, like, I know it feels good to be like, we're kicking them out of Texas and we're sending them to you, Chicago. But your money's still going to go to these people. So it's really not solving the problem. So vote, vote, vote. Be informed. Hold your city council. Hold their feet to the fire. Everyone who is elected to represent you should be taking this seriously. And it is up to us to bug them until they do. That's what I do. I have found that I do make a lot of progress with all of these elected officials when I just don't leave them alone. And they're like, okay, if we do what you ask, will we stop seeing you? Will you stop showing up to bother us? Yes. Okay, well, whatever gets the problem done, the problem solved. So I would encourage all of you guys to share this story with a friend because more people need to know what the Biden administration is doing and how they are secretly trying to just cause complete destruction and chaos of this country from the inside. Everyone needs to know about this story. And by the way, for those of you who are not listening on audio podcast, if you would go over to wherever you get your audio podcasts and go ahead and follow us, subscribe to Come and Take It on audio podcast, and it will help us in the algorithm because we all know conservatives don't get a lot of love in the algorithm of these leftist tech companies. So that'll help us out a lot. And I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good rest of the week, and we will see you next time on Come and Take It.